I honestly don't know how to start this lore video. The Long Dark has many characters with unique aspects of mystery and intrigue. The problem with Father Thomas, the subject of this video, is that he is entirely normal and vanilla. I'm not saying that vanilla is bad though. Having a familiar voice of moral good in any story is comforting, especially when it seems like every other character in the game is a varying degree of crazy. As a priest for the church in Thompson's Crossing and a resident of Pleasant Valley for many years, he has a story to tell, but Grey Mother he is not. Instead of just retelling his story, I think I want to analyze his actions, his words, and how he has and will affect the story of the Long Dark. Before I continue, please make sure to comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so I can keep making these videos. First, I believe it is important that I say this at the start of the video. I believe that most of the characters in Wintermute are meant to act as guides for our protagonists. For Will Mackenzie, he had Grey Mother to act as a mirror image of himself. With their eerily similar traumas, she is basically a reflection of Will's future if he continued on his current path. Through her, Will learned that reconciliation, primarily with Astrid, would be his savior. Jeremiah was quite a different guide, but nonetheless important. He showed Will that problems can often be dealt with by using a simple solution. Sometimes repeating history can solve a massive, hairy, and angry problem. Methuselah is, well, Methuselah. Confusing, indirect, but is sharing lessons and wisdom if you pay close attention. If you want to know all of my thoughts and speculations on Methuselah, definitely check out this video linked in the description. Astrid Greenwood had her own guides as well, including Molly. Astrid and Molly were not that different, but also vastly different at the same time. One shows the success of an independent woman with a career, and the other shows a life of regret through a traditional wife. Their circumstances following the Quiet Apocalypse may have highlighted their similarities, but also brought forth their key distinctions based on their life choices. They would find they are not that different from each other despite walking different paths. Then we get to Father Thomas. So far, he is the only character that is truly good. He is a voice of reason in a cold, dark valley. He is a gosh darn hero. Honestly, his actions in the community center with the arrival of the crash survivors should qualify him for sainthood. Despite being limited in what he could do, he did everything he could do to help the crash survivors. He had nothing to gain and everything to lose. It wasn't until Astrid's arrival that he could actually truly save the crash survivors. I think it's safe to assume that Father Thomas saw Astrid as the answer to his prayers. When it comes to religion in a story like this, there are a few ways to do it just right. I think the Long Dark does it well. While the Quiet Apocalypse is not about religion, at least according to Methuselah, that doesn't mean that religion can't be or isn't present. Just look at Methuselah's name and its origin. Father Thomas doesn't question Astrid's faith or do anything to make you question his devotion to his faith. Instead, he is a counselor. He fed the sick. He sheltered the injured. He labored away for people that didn't even know him. He didn't force his religion onto Astrid, but instead offered it as a tool for hope. He even protected the dead from being consumed by the wolves before a proper burial. This is what a true Christian looks like. Whether he believes he must do these things in order to achieve eternal bliss in the afterlife, or for fear of eternal damnation, he does so much and goes above and beyond what most humans would do for complete strangers. Father Thomas's actions speak for the kind of person he is. He is selfless, empathetic, hardworking, and a vessel for his beliefs. Whether you believe in any religion or not, he is a model resident of Great Bear Island. When it comes to his words, he has a lot to offer. His knowledge of the valley provides the foresight of a coming, harsh winter. When sending Astrid out to the plane crash, he requested mementos of the dead. He knew they would be invaluable for the survivors and their grieving for the dead. Through his prayers with the survivors, while not seen or heard in the game, he gave them all some form of comfort and peace. He lived in the valley so long that he even knew its history. By sharing the location of the long-forgotten Cinder Hills mine with Astrid, he gave her a chance to escape, find her way to Perseverance Mills, and help save them in the future. He even offered a warning to Astrid about her burdens, which didn't have to be shouldered on her own. Finally, I want to talk about how Father Thomas may affect the story of the Long Dark going forward. Not only will he affect the future of Astrid's journey, but the future of the lives she will encounter along the way. While she was a doctor and did everything she could for the crash survivors, I believe that she learned a lot from him. I think the last cutscene of Wintermute episode 3 says it all. She is observant enough to know there is more to the quiet apocalypse than just the Auroras. She also fears what the coming apocalypse will do to the many survivors out there. I have no doubt that Astrid will be a savior to many people across the island. Her own words at the very end of the cutscene offer some insights on her future. Despite her knowledge of what lies ahead in Perseverance Mills and what may come with the coming apocalypse, she is not going to give up easily. She has already faced murderous convicts, wolves, and the bitter cold, and she is ready to face whatever comes ahead. She has devoted her life to only do good for the sake of human health. She has survived a near-death experience once and will be fighting for her life once again when episode 5 arrives. She has already crushed all expectations of a doctor, and she still has a lot of work to do in Perseverance Mills. Along the way, all of Father Thomas's wisdom, compassion, and devotion will echo through every single one of her actions. The lessons she learned from him will pass on to every life she touches. While she is only one half of the key to save Perseverance Mills, Mackenzie will also bring with him his lessons learned, knowledge earned, and the hard case with the cure. These guides, no matter what type of person they are, have changed the protagonists Will and Astrid for the better. Father Thomas is a reminder to stay human in these dark times, to not abandon good morals, and to not abandon your fellow man or woman in the face of certain death. This is a lesson that Astrid could have used back in Milton when she had to leave Will behind. I guess it all worked out in the end since they will be converging to their original intended destination on Great Bear Island. It only took them an apocalyptic solar storm and an incredibly long detour to get there. Along the way, they take with them a piece of the many survivors they came across and the lessons they had to offer. Hopefully, we get to see the fruits of Father Thomas's work in the final chapter of Wintermute. If you want to catch up on any lore I've already covered, you can check out all the various playlists for the history of the Long Dark, Wintermute, Rudiger's Project, the people and places of Great Bear Island, and the Buffer Memories. They will be linked in the description. If you enjoyed this lore video for the Long Dark, please don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so I can keep making them.